Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, this is Best in Slot, and in today's video we're going to take a look at this B-roll footage for the upcoming Jurassic World Dominion. As it says on the screen right now, this is technically not meant to be used as a standalone piece. What it is essentially a huge series of behind-the-scenes shots, showcasing various different sort of behind-the-camera pictures from Jurassic World Dominion. Tons and tons of footage. It's really interesting, but there's only a few bits of it that are like brand new, so to respect the wishes of the text on the screen, I'm basically going to go through and I'm going to show you the important bits, what I would consider the most important bits. There's no sound or anything, unfortunately, so we'll stick some dramatic music over the top, but let's dig in, let's take a look, let's see what cool things are out there. Okay, the first one I want to show you here is Claire. She's emerging from the cabin, assuming Owen's cabin in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness. It's very much the kind of thing he would do. We're not showing you this because Claire just happens to be vibing pretty hard that day, but if we just watch this for a second, she comes out of the cabin. She clearly sees something, she's scared, she's distressed by what she's seeing in front of her. And then, if we see the cabin next, you can see she's actually fighting with somebody inside the cabin. If you watch the camera behind them, you'll see she's fighting, they're throwing each other, there's like a bottle being swung around or something like that. You know, she's actually battling what appears to be another human inside this cabin. So if you just keep on watching the screen from behind, it seems like someone maybe breaks through the window or something like that, as you can see there. Or something breaks through the window. That might be a CGI thing. This looks like that's actually the latter part of the scene, weirdly enough. Keep watching it. And then, yeah, there's two humans, or maybe even three humans, battling each other with something. It could actually instead be a dinosaur. Sometimes they do the thing where, you know, a dinosaur has a human actor sort of behind it, holding up a prop. But either way, we're seeing something attack Claire within this cabin. Now, for probably why you clicked on the video in the first place, let's play this little clip. Okay, so that's all we get. That is all we get, but it is our first official proper look at the Dimetrodon in Jurassic World Dominion. I will slow this footage down for you in post, I promise. But Maisie's there, she's inside the cave. Of course, we've heard already that the Dimetrodon is going to be a pack, essentially inside this cave, probably in Biosyn Valley, in this amber valley, this amber-rich valley where the Biosyn base is. You can just about see that sort of you can see its legs here sticking out the side, that kind of, you know, diapsid side sort of stance it's got going on. The head with its slightly Rex-esque kind of feeling to it. You know, I've always felt that. You can see that there, the head shape there poking out, and then there's the top of the skull there. There's very little to say this, but it's cool to see it in motion. It's cool to see it is real, essentially. Obviously, we've seen images, static images and stuff like that, but to see this little glimpse of the video is pretty awesome. It's there, folks. It's out there. We also see some interesting matchups between characters in the film. This is Ian Malcolm and Mamadou Afi's character, who I believe is called Ramsey Cole. Ramsey Cole is a biosyn scientist, but clearly by the end he's coming over to the side. It must be said as well, this vehicle in the background, it might just be me, but there are very strong Lost World Jurassic Park kind of vibes in this vehicle setup over here on the right-hand side. So we've seen images of this scene here. There's a couple of things I wanna point out. The first, I've seen so many people suggest Ian Malcolm's about to die here, which I think is kind of nonsense, if I'm totally honest with you. I think the chances that they kill off Ian Malcolm is immensely low. But I think we knew this. I don't know, I've not really been keeping up to date with what people are talking about, but the flame, the stick, if you look at it, it's really interesting. It's a freaking, it's a locust. I thought when this first came past me, I thought, oh, why has he got like a, you know, like a Halloween toy skeleton on the end of the stick? But it's clearly one of those giant locusts, and we've seen those have been on fire in this scenario where they're getting attacked by the Giganotosaurus. The flames have caught them, you can see them falling from the sky as these little bursts of flame. So clearly what's happened is there's one on the ground, burning. Ian has gone with his stick, stuck it into this locust, picked it up, and is now waving it around to try and distract or threaten the Giga. A little adorable clip here, we get to see the Lystrosaurus in action, and there is sound, very excitingly. I think that is, I don't think this is behind the scenes, I think this is the Wonder Why is just having fun with the Lystrosaurus animatronic. And which looks really good, by the way. People have taken to calling it Leonard, because we must name every creature in the world. I don't know if it is officially called Leonard. But the animatronic looks fantastic. Well, clearly there's someone off to the side controlling it with a remote control of some description. And then she gives it a little scratch and it starts doing this little vibrate. It's adorable. Love that. Here's some interesting little shot here of Dr. Wu. Basically, we've seen him quite a lot at his table talking about what's going on. We've seen him dissecting the locusts. The giant locust to kind of figure out what's going on there, or maybe he's working for Biosyn at this point in time. But as we can see here, as the camera pans to the right, and Dr. Wu's sitting there in his shaggy bohemian face with his massive tablet. The larger locust isn't here quite yet, but he's actually got what seems to be lots of little locusts swarming over something else. I don't know if he's just researching them, or they seem to be like maybe digesting, eating away whatever else is contained in this container. But these are real. If you look on the right hand side in particular, you see these are actually just real locusts. Then we can see Barry as well. Barry, Owen, and random long-haired man. I don't know who random long-haired man is, but random long-haired man I suspect is trying to shoot a dinosaur of some description, because Owen is once again, for like the 50th time in this film, doing his hand outreached, please don't, you know, eat us kind of thing, and they're trying to stop him shooting the dinosaur, which makes me think it's a dinosaur they care about, which makes me think it's slightly blue or something like that, or maybe they're just trying not to annoy it further than they already have. Okay, I think this is worth seeing as well. We get to see the animatronic for Beta in action. There's a lot of really cool, especially with the smaller critters, a lot of these smaller animals. The animatronics are really, really great, and obviously the Giganosaurus has a pretty great one as well. But Beta's animation, we get to see it actually in action here, as you'll see. Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, all of these I suspect will be overlaid with CGI, as is the trend these days. But the eye individually moving, you know, the eyelids opening and closing, the mouth opens, the body leans forward, she breathes out. You can hear the noise. Like, I'll turn it up just so you can. There you go. You ready? It's gonna be loud.
Yeah, like that. And action.
The tongue waggles, the tail waggles. It's good stuff. It's a really it's the little animatronics and stuff that show that little extra love and attention and care into the film, which I really appreciate. Little glimpse of a scene I don't think we've seen here before, and also just some really interesting camera work. So just watch this. It's Claire seemingly falling out of a building in Malta. This is, of course, during the Atrociraptor chase. Assuming she's being chased through this building. Of course, they're being chased through the streets as well, through all the scaffolding and stuff like that. Owen's on his motorbike, Claire's on that utility vehicle, but clearly here she's chased through the building and she's sort of falling out over the balcony at the far end. But I just really like seeing the camera guy as well. It goes to show the level of sometimes just physical skill that is involved in this kind of thing. Look at him go, and then it stops and pulls him back, and you get a good shot. Another little new scene here. Not all these are super exciting individually, but if it's new and I haven't seen it before, I'm going to point it out. So first of all, we've got Owen on the horses, or assumably stunt double on the horses. I do want to point out that I like that this is actually happening. They're actually out there in the wilderness filming in real time. You know, there's no big green screen here or something like that. I kind of appreciate that. That might not seem like a big deal, but it's becoming rarer and rarer. But it's the next scene that that is new, I believe. There he is. Owen getting dragged down the hill, doing a good job actually. I'm kind of impressed with how he's acting that. But assumedly, this is obviously we know he's wrangling that wild Parasaurolophus at some point, and assumedly, although we haven't seen the outcome of that, if things actually end up going pretty badly, it's dragging him along, it's pulling him down the hill, it's pulling him along the snow. You could film this at the appropriate angle to kind of match with the hill, and it would look like it's being dragged along a straight line. But either way, yeah, something's going to go wrong with that initial thing. And then, assumedly, this is where his cabin is. That's where Claire's going to appear at some point. And then they get attacked in the cabin, which is interesting. We know that Blue and Beta are in the area. We know that there's trappers in the area. That could well be who was actually attacking Claire at the cabin. Another new thing we've seen here. Now, I think most of us assumed this was going to be the case. The plane gets attacked by the Quetzalcoatlus and then crashes, but we can actually see that happening visibly here. The plane nosedived into this big tundra, into this frozen lake, and this is, of course, where they get attacked by the Pyroraptor in that whole deep-sea underwater swimming sort of scene that we've seen before. The thing I'm curious about this is, where's Claire? Because she doesn't appear to be in this scene at all, but of course she was on the plane with Chris and DeWanda. And, two, again, I just really like that they've actually built this set, they've got this big cracked ice and all this kind of jazz. Even if a lot of this gets CGI'd over in post, and it inevitably does, that's modern filmmaking, it's cool to see. You know, I really appreciate that. I think the actors probably appreciate that as well. But the plane does officially crash in this wilderness. There you go. Chris just looking very dramatic. As he does. There you go, just a little bit more of the beta animatronic there. See the little movements of the mouth, the little nasal, and mainly the eyes blinking and stuff like that. Not much to say on this one, but it's cool to see it being operated. It's cool just to see animatronics like this again. I think she looks really good, actually. Anyway, that's it from me in terms of stuff that seems to be important, stuff that seems to be relevant, and stuff that seems to be exciting for the film, and stuff that seems to be new, more important than anything else. Yeah, really interesting. I think the Jurassic World Dominion marketing is about to kick into high gear. You know, we're actually really close to the film. It's like 3.5 weeks away or something kind of crazy. Less than a month now, which seems almost alien. You know, it was meant to be a year ago it came out, and obviously everything happened. It's kind of a strange feeling in a way. I'm more interested in some ways to see what happens after Dominion. Where does the franchise go next? What's the next step, if any? But I think there will be. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, throw me a like down below. Let me know what you're most excited about in Jurassic World Dominion. And I will see you lovely folks very soon. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.